Welcome back to our 31st season of 7-Eleven Junior Hockey Magazine. I'm your host, Gino Reda. Time now for the CJHL Report. The Canadian Junior Hockey League brings together 115 teams in the 9 Junior A leagues involving over 2,500 players from right across the country. Not often we get to speak to a former first-round NHL draft pick in this segment. Now join us, longtime friend of the show, my buddy Rob Pearson, who was picked 12th overall by the Leafs back in the 1989 draft. And now you're the head coach, general manager of the OJHL's Pickering Panthers. Rob, welcome to the show. How are you doing through all of this? Are you starting to settle back into the post, I don't want to say officially post-pandemic, but we're getting back to some normalcy? How you doing out there?
Yeah, definitely. It's been hard on everyone, whether it's the fans, whether it's the staff or the players themselves. So everyone's excited to be back in the rinks. And, we did everything correctly through the OJ, and it worked out well. We got a lot of games in, and we're just happy to be back now, extending the season and making sure, the kids that weren't going to make playoffs, et cetera, that they all got lots of games before playoffs started. So I think that was a heck of a job by the OJ, what they've done here.
I want to follow up on that because you had an opportunity to play a lot of hockey over a lot of years, and you weren't under the kind of limitations the kids you're coaching and the general manager for right now. I know that a big part for you is not just winning games, but it's being there for the kids and helping them to kind of pursue their dreams. What's it been like for you when you know the guys you're working with, as it is, they got a small window of opportunity in junior hockey, and now that's been squeezed even more? What's that been like with you, with your relationship with the kids, when you're trying to give them more than really they're able to get right now?
Yeah, it's tough right now. I always try and be realistic with the kids and try and tell them what's going on in the world. In the NCAA right now, there's a backlog of kids because of everything that's happened. So some kids that should be playing hockey this year in the NCAA, they're back here with us. And even next year, they might be pushed one more year. And that's the life of the game right now. And we just have to mentor them. These young boys and say, you know what, you have time, you're young. Let's keep working hard and get you where you want to be. And that's the key, is to make sure that they're not just hanging the skates up and quitting the game that they love.
We were talking off air just before we started recording this, that you've got a 21-year-old who's still playing the game. Where is he at? What's he up to?
So he was very fortunate. I coached him for a couple of years in the OJ, and we ended up trading him out to BC. He came to me one day and he just said, you know what, Dad, I want to be able to bill it with someone. I want to have that hockey experience in case I never get it one day through the NCAA. But he was fortunate, and he's at Yale now. He played his first year at Yale this year as a goalie. He played some games too. He had a good .916 save percentage. So life is good for Luke Pearson right now, and I'm very proud and happy for him.
Are you getting a chance to see him play at all? Do you get down? Can you watch him on TV?
So I've only been down twice just because of hockey and my schedule. I didn't get to see him play live, but because he's on TV, we get to see every game on TV, whether it's the same night or I'll watch it the next morning and get to see every game. So I've seen every minute he's played and thoroughly enjoyed it.
Do you find it a stark contrast to what you did in the game compared to what your kid is now trying to do in the game?
We are doing two different paths. It's incredible. I was a forward who liked to bump the goalies and talk to the goalies and hit them. He became a goalie, and I went through the OHL route, and he's gone to the NCAA. And the proudest moment that I have truly for my son is that he's always thought education first, and it's something that I never really achieved when I was younger. I had my high school and went on to the NHL right away. So to see him say, I want education first, is fantastic for me.
We're in conversation with Robbie Pearson, former first-round draft pick of the Toronto Maple Leafs, longtime NHLer, now head coach and general manager of the OJHL's Pickering Panthers. Let's talk about your club. You guys were 13th on the CJHL National Top 20 rankings. Give me a sense, the game. Give me a sense of how much damage this team could do, because the Pickering Panthers have got rich tradition, but you've also gone through some low years. Where are you at right now?
We are pushing. We're pushing for team records right now. We're pushing, our goal is to try and be in the top 2 of the OJ at the end of the year, if not number 1. We have the capability of it. We got good leadership on our team. It starts with Roy and net. He's been fantastic for us. So obviously goalies are number one in my heart. So it starts with him, with Tomlinson and Altimore on the back end. And then we've got a great leadership of 4 lines up front. So it is in their hands. They have the capability of doing it. It's a matter of being consistent and coming out every night. And we've done a pretty good job so far this year.
Hockey's filled with great stories. Hockey is all about overcoming adversity and beating the odds. You've got a kid on your team, and I want you to tell the story. I'm not even going to give the backstory. I want you to give us the story of Owen Brady, one of the defensemen on your team, who's gone through an absolutely incredible journey for the last 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, you know what? Owen, he was a top prospect. He would have been a top probably 10 first rounder in the OHL 03 birth year. He ended up getting some bad news. He had a lump on his leg, and he ended up having cancer. So he had to take some time off. He took 2 or 3 years off. But this boy, he's battled. He's everything that he's earned, he has battled. And one thing that we talked about last year when I made the trade for him to get him into our system and to see what he can do, to give him an opportunity. And it's kind of like I said to him, I go, you're going to be my diamond in the rough. Whatever you can give me is going to be a bonus. So come out there, and if you all of a sudden you crack my top 4 or top 2, then it's a bonus. But for what he has had to go through personally, mentally, it's fantastic. And he's done a great job this year. He's not quite where he wants to be. His mind knows the game so well, but he's getting there. And it's just a slow process for him. But he's jumping all over it and taking every advantage he can. And it's a pretty special story.
It is special. So listen, you and I have known each other for literally decades now. There was a part of your career where you were the guy front and center and drawing the attention, and you were causing some damage out there on the ice to draw that exact attention. Now you're kind of in the background, in the wings, trying to lift other kids and help the attention be drawn to them. What's that transition been like for you personally, to become a guy who's kind of promoting people around him and trying to pass on what you can as a mentor?
I absolutely love it. I love seeing these kids come. I love seeing their ups and downs. I love seeing their smiles when they're on the high. I love seeing when they're a little down a little bit, where we can go out and give them a hug. Walking off the bench, down the hallway, and giving a player a hug to get them mentally back into it is so satisfying. Like, it's just amazing to be able to do it and to help these kids and say, hey, a bad shift, a bad game, anything like that, it's not the end of the world. And we have to mentor these kids to say, hey, you still have to go work for it. You still have to work hard for it. Go earn it, and the good stuff will happen. And the harder you do it, the better you'll come. And it's really nice seeing the accomplishments of some of these kids.
Okay, before I let you go, I got to ask you a Leaf question, at least one question in this. It's been a struggle for this club. They can't get out of the first round of the playoffs. They're having some ups and down struggles again this year. You were part of that team back in 1993 in that Stanley Cup playoff run where the Leafs lost Game 7 of the conference finals to the Kings. You played 14 games during that run. Looking back, what do you remember most about that stretch?
It was unbelievable. I was a young pup there, and I had a lot of good leadership with Wendell Clark, Doug Gilmore. I could go on the list there. And watching them prepare every day for a 2-1 game or a 1-1 game, a tight game, was incredible to see. And that's what the Leafs are going to have to do today. It's going to be about, and I've seen them do it this year, where they've actually really pressed hard and said, okay, we're going to play team defense first, and then we're going to get the goals, because they have the firepower. Everyone knows that. We can score 5, 6, 7 goals a game if they want. But we can't leave our goalies stranded like we have some nights, and we got to protect them, and they'll help us in the long term. So I think it's the same way, like preparation, dedication to the team defense, and they'll come out no problem out of the first round this year. That's my prediction.
All right, good prediction. We'll hold you to it. We recorded this and we'll play it
All
back
right,
for you.
definitely.
Robbie, great catching up, man. All the best to you and your family and your kid. Keep us up to date on what's going on. And good luck with your run with the Panthers.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
That was Pickering Panthers head coach and general manager Rob Pearson. And that wraps up this week's CJHL Report. The Canadian Junior Hockey League. Your future is here. Still inside 7-Eleven Junior Hockey Magazine, he represented our nation in the 2016 World Junior in Finland, and now he's playing for the Philadelphia Flyers. We'll check in with Travis Konechny in this week's edition of Where Are They Now? You're listening to Canada's only nationally syndicated junior hockey radio show. This is season 31 of 7-Eleven Junior Hockey Magazine. And don't forget, you can listen and subscribe to the complete podcast by checking out any of your favorite podcast platforms.